This is the ultimate chocolate cake. When we set out to make the ultimate chocolate cake, one thing that we were really going after was a really dark, rich black color. And so to help us achieve that, we decided to opt for the Dutch processed cocoa, which is a little bit darker. By a little bit, I mean a lot of it. It's like a much richer, darker color. And a lot of that just comes into the way that it's produced. First things first, you want to preheat your oven and prep your tins for baking. Here's a cool trick for making this really painless. Taking 3 strips of parchment, folding it in half, fold it in half again, and then with your eye on this left bottom corner, you're going to fold up 45 degrees and then fold it again. And then take that point and roughly measure from the center to the edge, and that'll be where you cut. Then when it comes out and you unfold it, it's a perfect circle that fits into your tin. You don't want to get the batter made, have those leaveners working and then not have your tins ready to go. Now this cake has 3 components, and what we're going to start with is sifting our dry ingredients into a bowl. Sifting is important because it aerates the dry ingredients as well as ensures that there's no big clumps or any other weird things that would be sitting in like your flour. I don't know, like sometimes there's little bits of stuff, so this just ensures that none of that gets into your final cake. So the first secret ingredient in this cake is stout. The stout is a lot of different things, but it also adds a really cool, interesting depth of flavor that you really can't get with just using water alone. The second secret ingredient is espresso powder, and this helps really enhance the chocolate flavor. The espresso and the stout are going to give you that extra boost that makes you think like, oh, what's in this? It's so good and rich. So we have the dry ingredients, we have the wet ingredients ready to go. The next thing we're going to do is cream our butter and sugar. You really want to do this for a while. You're not just combining them, you're really trying to get a lot of air beat into the butter and sugar. From time to time, you want to scrape down the bowl to ensure that you're getting everything really evenly creamed in together. As always with eggs, we recommend breaking them into a bowl separately first, just in case it's like a bad egg or you get a bunch of eggshell in. Whoop. The butter and the sugar can only absorb so much liquid at once, so that's why you really want to take your time and add 1 egg at a time. It's super buttery, look at that. Now for the third secret ingredient, don't freak out, it's mayonnaise. There's a lot of other secret ingredients that are in chocolate cakes. I've seen anything from sour cream to sauerkraut. We're only putting about a half cup in here. You're not going to taste it. It's going to be extremely moist and rich. You can already see how much more creamy this is making our batter. Now switch off between adding our dry and our wet ingredients. So you don't have to be too crazy about this. Just dump, a good third in. A big part of why you're doing this in stages is mostly just because if you added it all at once, it would go everywhere and be a huge mess. Just take your time, add it kind of every other. Optional, we're gonna fold in some dark chocolate chunks. What the chocolate chunks will also do is add like a third texture to the cake. So you're gonna have this really gooey, fudgy cake with that rich buttercream that we're gonna show you how to make later. And then you're gonna have these nice little bits of chocolate, kind of that journey of different textures and flavors throughout. Because we have chemical leaveners in here with that baking soda and baking powder, you don't want to let this sit out for too long. That's why we preheated our oven and prepped our tins. It's not going to dome as much as some other cakes. It's actually going to come out pretty flat, which is really great, so we're not wasting anything by cutting off that top dome. We did test a ton of recipes and we didn't like how a lot of them would dome so much. Then you have to cut that off in order to get good layers for your cake. Let them cool in there pretty significantly. To turn them over, the easiest way is just putting a plate over top and then flipping them one by one. And you want to put them back on the drying rack and have them cool completely before touching them again. You never want to decorate a warm cake. If you put buttercream on a hot cake, it will just completely melt the frosting. The thing about buttercream is it seems really easy, but the temperature of your butter as well as the temperature of your kitchen and what you're doing really makes a big difference. If you're really struggling to get it on the cake, it probably needs just like a little bit of warmth to make it spread better. More for not making a mess, I tend to add my dry ingredients into the butter slowly, just because everyone's had that experience when they toss a whole bunch of powdered sugar in and turn their mixer on, and then there's powdered sugar all over you in the kitchen. So slowly incorporate your powdered sugar and add milk as needed. Now that our cakes are cooled and our buttercream is made, it's time to decorate. We're going to put down parchment paper, and we do that to keep our cake stand or platter or whatever you're using clean. So this is my favorite tool in the entire world. An offset spatula is going to change your life. So as you can see, it's nice and flat. I don't need to do anything weird to it. I'm not cutting off any top of it. I'm not going to have any waste. And look at how great this color is. I mean, it's so dark. It's going to be like, the best color. I'm going to put a whole bunch of icing right on top. In between the layers, you want to use more frosting than you think. This doesn't have to look pretty. It doesn't have to be perfect. If you put a whole bunch in the middle and kind of push down, it'll help get icing all the way out to the sides. A nice thin layer all over the top. And then what I like to do, I don't know if this is like a pro tip, but I like to kind of dab with the back of the spatula, distribute frosting all over. Then you can start smoothing it. I would say when in doubt, just add more frosting than you think. It's much easier to take frosting off than it is to try and work with a little bit of frosting and try and spread it out evenly. If you can't get a really even layer, what you could do is kind of go for that rustic look and take the tip of your spatula and do little S's back and forth and just kind of like dot it all around. We're not gonna do that, but that's like a little tip for you if you're going crazy. My struggle with decorating cakes is I never know when to stop, and sometimes like, you'll just keep going and going and going, and it was fine like 5 minutes ago. Just stop. Don't keep going. You could go on forever. It looks great. Put the spatula down. You can put anything on here. You can put shaved chocolate. You can put, sprinkles. You can put shaved coconut, a whole bunch of stuff. I love the look of just fresh fruit on everything. To get that perfect slice, you want to run your knife under hot water or put it in like a pitcher of hot water. Every time you make a cut, clean it off. If you have icing and crumb all over your knife and then you go and cut down, you're going to carry that all into the next slice. It's really well balanced between the cake and the frosting, not overly sweet. You learn a lot of fundamentals with this recipe that you can take with you in a lot of other cake recipes that you do.